Determine whether the data values collected to answer the statistical question are categorical or numerical. In my class with my students, we use qualitative and quantitative. Remember, the N in quantitative tells us it's a number, and the L in qualitative reminds us that it is a label or that it uses letters. All right, so for number 6, what is the average time it takes a sixth grader or a sixth grade student to run a mile? Time is a number, so that is going to be quantitative. What is the typical type of car in the store parking lot? Well, types of cars are labels, or the answer is with letters, so that is qualitative. We wouldn't say that the type of car at the store is the number 4. We would say it is a Toyota, or a Chevy, or a Ford. The histogram and the dot plot summarize the test scores for a 6th grade class. A says, what information can you easily see in both the histogram and the dot plot? We can see that it's spread out from around 56 or 50 to 95, or in this one you can see it's spread out to about 100. You can also see that in this one there's a big clump of data between 80 and 90, and you can see that there's a lot of dots in that range as well. What information can you easily see in the dot plot, but not in the histogram? In the dot plot, we can see individual values. For example, I can tell that there is 1 point on 73, but I don't know how many of the points are on 71 versus how many are on 79, because it just tells me how many are in this range. So a gap meaning there's no data in that section, or a cluster meaning there's a lot of data grouped together in a similar location. C, what information can you easily see in the histogram, but not in the dot plot? In the histogram, it's very clear what shape the data is displaying, whether it's symmetric or skewed. These data sets were collected from a group of 6th grade students. Which of these data sets can we display using a histogram or a dot plot? And how do you know? We can display height, foot length, arm span, time spent talking on the phone, time spent doing homework. We can't do states or favorite exercise in a dot plot or a histogram, because dot plots and histograms both use quantitative data, number-based. Time spent traveling to school today, that's a number. Method of traveling to school is not. That would be like car or bus or bicycle. Those are not numerical. Time spent sleeping last Saturday night. Not favorite food. We can use a number for a score. And number of texts, but not for a favorite subject. And time can be based on a number. Choose a statistical question, then make a poster that includes the following information: your chosen statistical question, a description of how the data might have been collected, a dot plot or histogram that displays the data set and the title with the labeled axes, an explanation of why you chose this data display, a description of the shape and the spread of the data distribution, an estimate of the center of the data distribution, the number of observations in the data set, which could be how many students you observed, the unit of measurement for the data values, whether that's minutes, hours, feet, meters, include the units, and an answer to your statistical question. So my chosen statistical question was based on the arm span. Then it also says that we need to include a description of how the data may have been collected. The data may have been collected from a sample of students at one sixth grade school. We also need a dot plot or histogram that displays the data set and includes the title and labeled axes. And here I see that the lowest is 130, but the highest I see is 173. I don't want to use a dot plot for this because that's a lot of numbers to include, so I'm going to use a histogram to display this data. And I do need to include a label for the axes. This is going to be the arm span in centimeters. And then this side will have the frequency. I'm going to include arm span lengths from 130 to 40, then 150, 160, 170, and 180. I missed that there was one from 128, so I added 120. And now let's check and see. We have from 120, to 130. From 130 to 140, there's 1. From 140 to 150, 1, 2, 3, 3. Oh, I see more from 130 to 140. There's another, so 2, 3 there. From 150 to 160, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That goes off of my chart here. Ooh. Let's adjust my frequency here. Okay, let's try this again. From 120 to 130, I still see only 1. So I'm going to draw my bar 1 tall. From 130 to 140, 1, 2, 3. So that bar needs to be up to 3. Then from 140 to 150, again 3. Then from 150 to 160, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So up to the 12 line. Then from 160 to 170, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So up to the 5 line. And from 170 to 180, there is 1. So this one will be 1 tall. It says an explanation of why you chose this data display. I chose to use a histogram because a dot plot that started at 128 and went up to 173 would require a very long number line. So a histogram was better because I didn't have to draw out many numbers on my number line. Then it says a description of the shape and spread of this data distribution. The spread is from 120 to 180, which is a range of 60. The shape is slightly skewed. If we were to put our center in here, we would put it somewhere around here, so it would be skewed left. An estimate of the center of the data distribution. I would say it's in between 150 and 160. So I might go with a number of around 154. The number of observations in the data set. Well, if we count them up, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 observations. The unit of measurement was centimeters. And the answer to our question. So I said, what was a typical arm span length of 6th graders? The typical arm span length of a 6th grader is about 150 to 160 centimeters long. If you chose a different data set from the list of data sets, yours might look different than mine. There were several data sets to choose from for all of the different ones that can be represented using quantitative data. So if you would like to use a different one to do your data, that's okay as well. And that takes care of lesson 6 for selecting data displays.